All right, guys. Welcome to my live stream. This is unusual for me. If I'm being sincere, I rarely ever do live streams on a weekday. That said, let me move the camera a little bit. I think today is really a special live stream that needed a special kind of night. And if you have been following the audio news, by now you should have seen a video that went viral. Essentially, a video that had to do with an ultra high end company, ultra high end audio company, to be specific, a DAC manufacturer from the UK. And let me see. Basically, it seemed that DCS from the UK threatened an audio reviewer from the UK, essentially telling them that they are going to be sued. So I am going to go through that video with you guys and give you my commentary tonight. We are going to dissect this. We are doing something completely different, something that we normally have not done. Okay, guys, so without any further delays, I'm going to ask you first and foremost, you know the deal, hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Give me that support. We are approaching 30,000 subscribers. And to me, that is a milestone because it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So by you right now hitting that like button, you're helping this video to get promoted and to be in front of new subscribers. Okay, so I also want to do this video on essentially, I want to use different segments. Okay, what we're going to do is first, we are going to watch bits and pieces that I have selected from this particular website, particular channel, where basically they explain what has been transpiring with DCS. But I want to also give you a little bit of a backstory as far as DCS and of course who they are in the audio community. By now, you should have seen a DCS here on my channel. I've owned multiple DCS products, namely the Vivaldi DAC, the Rossini, the Bartok. I mean, I've had pretty much some of the best products that they make. I've had their clocks, I've had their streamers. Um, I've never had their all-in-one box digital super audio CD player. Although I tried for a particular period of time to bring it here. But anyway, DCS is a widely known company. This is not a brand that fools around when it comes to what they build. Their construction is impeccable. Their functionality has always been flawless. The time that I've owned it, I had no complaints about the product when it comes to the premium build, when it comes to their sound reproduction. Really haven't had anything bad to say about them. They are as serious as it gets when it comes to the when it comes to digital experience. Okay, it's the same for MSB from California. MSB and DCS, in my opinion, are the innovators, the leaders of this digital streaming experience. They are like Coke and Pepsi. They are like Ford and GM here in America. They are two of the most, amazing DAC digital um, manu- audio component manufacturers that money can buy. So they are not by any stretch of the imagination some small company working out of their garage that they don't have any sort of name, they don't have any recognition. These guys are killers when it comes to digital. Now, of course, you all know in this hobby, this is all subjective, right? What we do, what we listen to is all subjective, just like with cars. Some of you all may prefer an SUV over a sports car. It's all preference. It is absolutely no different with audio. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys understand that. Okay, um, again, DCS, huge name in the audio industry, very, very well recognized. Lots of great reviews out there about their brand. But I must say that what has transpired has left me pretty baffled, to say the least. So before I get started, please, guys, only 7 of you right now, hit the like button. Okay, subscribe to the channel. Let's call on more people. We're going to have a very nice time. I am about to start playing some bits and pieces of that video that was released that has to do with the entire back and forth that DCS had with this particular reviewer from the UK. You'll get to see some emails as well, as far as what DCS responded to them, and obviously, the whole entire drama, the back and forth. At the end of this video, if anyone is interested in joining this call, you are more than welcome to let me know if you want to give your take on things, how you feel about this from an audiophile, from an end user. What is it that you feel with what's going on? You must have a camera. If you have any interest, I urge you guys to please make sure you have, a camera. It is important. So let me check out what's going on right now on this. 1 second, folks. I am getting situated here. So I'm making sure that we are why publish. Okay. Making sure that you guys. Okay, so I am. All right. All right, so let's see what's happening right now. Only 5 of you, so I gotta believe something is going on. So let me see what's going on. Hopefully more of you join us because I only see 4 people right now. So you'll have to excuse me. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Public right now, it's public. So we have 4 of you. All right, here we go. 16 of you. Thank you. 16 of you right now. If you are just joining us again, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. We are about to dissect this entire situation with DCS and this audio reviewer, headphone reviewer from the UK. A lot has been said, a lot has been going on back and forth. So, what I want to do is have a very fun, interactive video. I am going to play bits and pieces of this entire conversation so you guys can basically just watch this video going forward so you understand what's happening. I will give you my take as we watch the video together. And at the end, if any of you is interested in coming on live tonight here and give your take, please let me know in the comments section. Just make sure you have a camera. It is important that you have a camera so that we can see your face and you can give us your perspective from an end user's point of view. Okay, it is important that we all understand how the general public feels about this entire fiasco and drama to a certain extent. So, without any further delay, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to watch the video together. I've selected the best clips in order to keep this very short and sweet. So let me share my screen and hopefully you guys enjoy what we're about to watch. Okay, so audio. Okay.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lissamore, CEO of Headphones.com. You might not know me because I don't usually show up in these videos, but I made an exception for this one because I think we're talking about something really important. So here's what happened. Cameron produced a video back in 2021 that a manufacturer didn't like, and that manufacturer is DCS. And DCS since then has threatened Cameron with litigation. And this is exactly the kind of behavior that we don't want to see in our industry because it makes it really hard for a creator to be honest about what they're thinking about a product or what they discover about a product publicly without fear of retaliation. And that can really hamper the really open and great dialogue we have about products publicly. And we don't want to be supporting a company that thinks that this type of action towards a reviewer is okay. This is really hard for us to do, and it's a hard video to make because DCS is a company that we work with and we've appreciated working with, but also on the balance of things, we felt like we needed to take action. So Headphones.com is going to end our relationship with DCS, and we're no longer going to sell their products because there's a real misalignment in terms of our values. And we don't want to be supporting a company that thinks that this type of action towards a reviewer is okay. The behavior of DCS in this case is something that sets a really dangerous precedent. And that's a precedent that doesn't only affect us or our team, it affects everyone in the industry. And our company, we feel really fortunate to have built what we did. We started this company, I think 8 years ago now, and it was just my brother and I at the beginning, and it's become more than we ever could have imagined. And a lot of that experience that we've had has been alongside an incredible team of creators that we've built, and Cameron is one of those. And we have a long history of supporting those creators and helping them to be able to express their true and honest opinions about products. And so when something like this happens, it really strikes to the core of our values as a company. And I think, something that would be a lot easier to be quiet about and not address publicly. Certainly, I think in the short term, there's a lot of risk to our company by being public about this. But
all right, I want to stop the video there really quick. I want to stop the video because I want to talk to you about what he said. Okay. The responsibility with being public about a video, about a review. We've all been talking about being objective, being transparent, being honest about a particular product and not being part of a cult or the mafia, the audio mafia, right? You guys have heard that before. And I understand that. For those of you who do not live in the United States, I want you guys to understand one thing. The First Amendment of the Constitution here is the freedom of speech. That means you are free to say what you want to say in this country. It is not like China. It is not like other parts of the world. Okay. You can say whatever you want to say here in the United States. Nobody is stopping you. You have the freedom. At birth, you have the right to say what you want to say. Okay. However, I have said it a million times. Everything comes with receipts. Everything you say or do comes with consequences. Everything. If you hate your boss right now and you're watching me and you just got out of work or you're headed to work and you are dreading being in front of your boss, you hate your supervisor. I know deep down you want to tell your supervisor or your boss how you feel about them, right? But what do? You could easily do that in the United States, but that probably will be your last day employed at that company. What does that tell you? That comes with receipts, right? There are consequences for the things you say. This is exactly what he's saying about going public, right? He's really, really expressing that concern that, wow, we're going to have to do this public, but we feel the need to be transparent with our audience. Great. But one thing that you on the other side of this camera, those of you who are watching me, do not understand about being extremely unbiased, open, transparent is the fact that that comes with a responsibility and obviously that those legal factors, legal consequences. You can get cease and desist notes in the mail from lawyers and all kinds of threats, right? Those things are real. They come. Okay. And if you're not a big dog, if you're not someone with huge, deep pockets, if you're not someone who has a legal team to protect you, yeah, it could go really bad for you. You may end up going to court. You may end up going through a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, money, financial issues down the road. So you kind of pump the brakes and think about this, and you realize, what is the need of me going through all of that so that I can just be open and honest about a review? Do I really need to pay those consequences just to tell the masses that product A ain't that great, product B is better? This is why reviewers sometimes have to pump the brakes because of the legal fear, what comes with it, right? A lot of these self-funded reviewers, influencers like myself, I mean, you may think we have a lot of money, but if you're going to be sued every time you say something negative, you just don't want the drama in your life. So you're going to, you know what? I don't need that stress in my life, man. I'm just going to carry on and continue doing other things with my business. That's the reason why sometimes objectivity becomes very difficult. And I want to make sure I tell you guys something else. All of you watching me, I'm sure there's probably a lawyer right now in the audience. You're not sending me a letter telling me if they sue you, Jay, I got your back. You don't got to pay me nothing. I'll go to court for free. We're not getting that support as influencers, as reviewers. Where is that help? Nobody has our backs, right? We don't have a legal team that will go to court for us and where we are not going to lose any money in doing so. In the US, I mean, it is outrageously expensive to hire a lawyer. You have no clue how much money that is here. It is serious money. As a matter of fact, and this is another story I wanted to tie together with this. When someone scams you in the United States of America, and let's say they were dishonest, they took your money, you wire money for a component, you sent out $10,000 for a product, right? It might cost you $10,000 in lawyers to recuperate $10,000, plus the added stress, plus the traveling to wherever this thief is located, going to that court system. And you know what happens at the end of the day? You may not know this. You know what happens? You go to court, you show up, the thief, the person who scammed you is there. The judge will say, okay, yeah, he stole. It's loud and clear. He's going to go on a payment plan and he's going to pay you every month because I just saw his finances. He doesn't have the money to pay you back right away. So he is liable for $500 a month over the next 3 years or whatever happened. Okay. But guess what? That person can also default on those payments now. Now you got to get your butt back on a plane to go back to court and start and keep going with this whole process. So sometimes people say, you know what? It happened. It was my mistake for trusting someone. Leave it as is. This is why a lot of these lawsuits sometimes are not even fought, because of the money involved, all the fees you have to pay lawyers to represent you. It's just too much. And at the end of the day, even lawyers themselves will tell you, he has no money. Do you still want to proceed with this? Because you got to pay me. Those fees cannot be sent to the other person if he's found to be guilty. Somebody has to pay me. He has no money, so you have to pay me. So that's why things happen this way. This is why this person talking is saying on this video that there's just so much that goes with it. But anyway, that's food for thought for you guys to understand how this works. So let's continue watching the video and then give me your comments. I'm going to start reading your comments shortly.
I think it's something that's so important that we make sure it never happens again to anyone else who is expressing their opinion about a product. It's really important that not only our team members, but also reviewers at large are really comfortable expressing their opinions publicly, especially if there's no malice behind their opinions. They're really trying to get to the truth of what a product is and why it's good for some people and not others. Or if they're trying to look at how a company is marketing something and whether or not that marketing is truthful or not. I think those are really important functions. And so in this case, I think having a really threatening response to someone who's trying to review a product is really damaging to this whole community and industry that we really love. And now Cameron is going to dive into the details and walk you guys through exactly what's happened.
Hey everyone, so this is going to be a little bit long, but I'm going to go through exactly what has happened up until now. In December of 2021, I published a review of the DCS bar talk, and recently I've received communication from a lawyer acting on behalf of DCS, demanding that my review be removed or significantly amended, else DCS will be forced to exercise its remedies to protect its interests, including the recovery of actual and special damages and punitive damages, i.e. remove or heavily amend your review or we will sue.
All right. Perfect example of what I was saying, right? Perfect example of what can happen to us influencers for being open and transparent. So while you guys are sitting down just reading our reviews, our take on stuff, demanding transparency, behind the curtains, this is what we could be going through. So who's out there to help us when this is happening to us? Think about that for a minute. Think about that for 1 second. This is something that many of you never really think about. Who is out there to help us when this is happening? No one. You all just sit there and expect objectivity, expect transparency, expect unbiased reviews, but you're not thinking about the other side of the coin. Let's continue watching.
This is not the first time that a manufacturer has threatened to sue a reviewer over a negative review or coverage of their products, and unfortunately it probably won't be the last. But whilst I understand that a manufacturer is not going to be particularly pleased about a review being published saying that their product wasn't great value, resorting to legal threats rather than a constructive discussion with the person to try to address factual inaccuracies that they feel are present is, in my opinion, bullying on a corporate scale and damaging to both the community and the reviewing space as a whole. And this video is being made because this is an important issue to talk about. Reviewers like me aren't big companies with big budgets, and the threat of an expensive legal defense, even if you do feel that you're in the right, and even if you do win your case, is pretty daunting and immensely stressful. I've had a rough few weeks because of this. And in situations like
hear
what we
you.
saw with Aaron's Audio Corner and Tecton recently, the threat and financial stress is significant regardless of the validity of the claim. And for many, they may feel that they simply have no choice but to just comply with the demands being made. And
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little backstory on the whole Tecton, what he just mentioned about Tecton loudspeakers. This other reviewer, online reviewer, essentially reviewed a pair of Tecton speakers. I don't remember the model number, but at a high level, I'll give you a little bit of the information. He reviewed them. Basically, the measurements were not really up to standards. He said it was a very flawed design. So Tecton immediately did the same thing. Email, defamation, we're going to sue you. They were really aggressive with him. So he made a video about this, stating that Tecton had basically gone after him. Okay. Something that you may not know is I actually emailed Tecton behind the scenes when this video was public. Okay. And I said to them that unfortunately, I don't feel that was the right thing to do. And other things, other nuances that I'm not going to get into at this time. But long story short, this was a bad move for them too. So DCS essentially started to do the same thing with this reviewer from the UK. And obviously things change and have gone in a different direction since the release of this video. You will see that as we continue to make progress on this particular.
If reviewers are scared of speaking their honest thoughts and giving criticism of products for fear of being sued, we as a community don't get fair and honest coverage or reviews. I've always tried my absolute best to provide comprehensive and honest feedback of the products that I test. I've never used an affiliate link. I have never taken a sponsorship from any of the manufacturers of products that I review or competitors to the products that I review. And so altering what I say about a product based on demands from a manufacturer would also be quite contrary to that. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm going to be a little bit careful about what I say in this video, and I'm making this video because I believe it is of genuine newsworthiness, something that the community should be aware of, and something that's important to talk about, lest other manufacturers try the same tactics and this becomes a more widespread issue. I'm going to be as transparent as possible and share the full emails that are being discussed so that you know that nothing is being skewed, and I'm going to go through each of the objections that DCS has made, share my thoughts on them, and for some of them, I've also had some input from some prominent industry figures, so I'll share their thoughts on them too.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move to the emails. Okay. So I'm going to move to the next slide so you have an understanding of what is it that, DCS essentially emailed this reviewer. And I want you guys to be part of that, of course. So let's go to the next one. 1 second. All right. So you guys ready? Let's do it.
I then responded explaining that whilst I understand DCS may not agree with my subjective findings on the product or be particularly pleased about a negative review being posted, those were my honest opinions, and I have absolutely no grudge or agenda against DCS. In fact, I was quite looking forward to reviewing the Lena as I discussed with DCS at a recent show, because my impressions of that were very positive. I then said, misinformation and objectively false statements, however, are absolutely not something I want to be publishing. And if something I say is shown to be false, I would very much like to correct the record. Would you be able to let me know which statements or parts of media I have published are ones you feel are definitively incorrect? I would be happy to discuss these with you and remove them or correct the record if I have published something incorrect. I then received a response which did not answer my question or provide any further information as to what in either my video or written article was factually incorrect, instead providing several paragraphs reasserting that I was being dishonest, misrepresenting DCS, being overtly malicious, and finishing with, I have no insight into what motivates your irresponsible and overtly malicious behavior. I am neither your mummy nor your therapist.
Oh, hell no. I'm sorry. Yeah, when you come to me like that and you talk about mom and dad and grandfathers and family and all of that, it's just wrong, man. I'm actually surprised that DCS would respond like that. A company so with such a high caliber pedigree when it comes to the manufacture process of DACs and their high quality products. I'm very shocked that they would send an email like that. Another thing that is really shocking to me is not seeing the bigger picture of, if this guy, this influencer, were to post these emails somewhere, we can't recall these emails anymore. And what's said, and it gets whatever is put on YouTube, it's out there forever. Like someone already downloaded the video, somebody made a copy of the video. So it's really tough for me to understand why would a company put themselves in this position. Oftentimes, and this is something that I'm sure many of you understand, okay? Oftentimes, I have to be very honest about this. There are brands that I have owned that, let's say, build speakers under $30,000 MSRP. And I like none of those offerings. I only like the offerings that they have above, let's say, $50,000 MSRP. Okay. So I would much rather own another brand for speakers under 30K because I think this high profile loudspeaker brand builds trash when it comes to speakers under $30,000 MSRP. So what I'm trying to say is you can't be the master at everything. When these brands begin to create more affordable propositions, sometimes they rely on their name to basically entice people to enter the brand. Okay. A lot of brands do this all the time. But just because you make something more affordable, in the case of the Bar Talk, right? I believe the MSRP right now, it's like 18,000 USD or something like that. Okay. They have always built great top-end DACs, Vivaldi, Rossini's, the clocks, the streamers, all of that. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that your product is going to be significantly better than those other products that are priced at around that cheaper, more affordable price point, just because you have a name. See what I'm saying? Same thing with Toyota. In my opinion, Toyota doesn't build great V8s. In my opinion, American cars, V8 American cars, are superior to what Toyota builds today. Right? But it doesn't mean Toyota is bad. I just feel that there are better ways to spend your money on a pickup truck with a V8 engine than buying a Toyota, right? So I don't understand why these brands get angry, get upset when in reality, I feel that's actually a healthy balance. It's a healthy thing to see good reviews, which DCS has. Okay, a lot of great reviews out there. And you know what? The occasional one-off that didn't sit well with someone, nothing great was said about a particular product. That's fine. That's part of the balance. That's healthy. As a matter of fact, when I go on Amazon and I see a product that I'm looking to buy for the house, whatever it may be, and I see 500 reviews and every review has 5 stars, to me, that's suspect. To me, I might be feeling that there's something going on here. That's sketchy. How is it possible that something has 500 reviews and it's 5 stars? To me, that doesn't seem like that's legit. You see what I'm saying? So it's healthy to have also negative reviews about your particular brand. It's fine. And if you are so sure and confident about what you build, clearly DCS is a great brand, that shouldn't phase you at all. That shouldn't be a concern. You should be more like, you know what? Let me reach out to this reviewer and say to them, hey, what DAC did you use? Where did you get it? Is this in great working condition? Where did you place it? What power cord? What kind of power? I would try to figure out the details as to what that reviewer did to review the product and assist to make sure that what was done was correct. That's what I would do. Like if I'm a brand, that's what I would embark on. And if after the fact, all of those things are done and he still feels like, I just feel like the product doesn't really deliver what I think it should given its price point, then you're cool. As a brand, you're like, okay, cool. You can't be mad at the reviewer. In this case, these two are partners. I mean, they were selling DCS products. They had a partnership with DCS, as far as I know. And so it's really a difficult pill for me to swallow when I see something like this, something of this magnitude take place, because it makes me wonder the following, and this is also something I don't want to forget. It makes me wonder this. If a brand is willing to do that to an influencer, in some cases, many of you think of us as nobodies. Okay. Imagine what happens behind the scenes with magazines and brands. If that is your tactic and that's how you approach an influencer or an independent reviewer, all that does is shine a light. And now people are going to wonder, well, hell, if they're willing to do that to John Smith, who paid for that DAC, what are they doing to actual magazines that actually are handed products by these brands? What are they telling them to do and write on those reviews? You see, that's all now people are going to think, because now they're thinking you are trying to control narratives now. We know you're known for that now. That's what I'm saying. If you stay out of it, it would have been perfectly fine, man, because DCS continues to move forward. They continue to innovate, create quality products. And if John Smith didn't like that product, hey, man, no problem. We're not for everyone. We're not for everyone, and that's totally fine. So those are my comments as I watch this video. So let's continue on and see what this whole thing turns into.
But you can bank on the fact that I will do all within my power to prevent people like you from lying about a company I love. As I'm sure you can understand, we can no longer stand by and allow you to deceive your audience at our expense. He then sent a follow-up, providing a particular quote from my previous email stating that it was patently false. I then replied to make clear, as I thought was the case in my original email, that statement about a device behaving differently with an external clock connected was not in relation to the Lena. It was in reference to a different product from a different manufacturer that I tested shortly before all this happened. And that was simply the reason as to why I'd be curious to test whether the Lena may be doing something similar, but as clearly stated, I am not implying that DCS is doing this and have nothing to suggest that they are. I had not measured a Lena myself, and I would not make such a claim without doing so. After some further email exchange, which you can read in full on screen, and the points of issue I will discuss shortly, I finished with, as what I hope will be seen as a positive gesture, I have set the video to private so that it is not publicly visible. If you would let me know which specific parts of the video you feel are inaccurate, I will look and remove them. I publish a mix of my own subjective evaluations of products and objective descriptions and measurements. And on that latter part in particular, I am not interested in publishing incorrect information. And in the past, when I've made a mistake, usually what happens is the manufacturer reaches out to me and says, hey, we think you got this wrong. Would you mind correcting it?
Right.
And if it is indeed incorrect, I will do that, either by pinning a comment, amending the description, amending the written article, or if necessary, just cutting that part out of the video entirely. And usually that's the end of it. If I've made a mistake, tell me, I will correct it. But I can't do that unless you actually tell me what you feel is incorrect. Just saying that the whole video that I myself am dishonest doesn't help. I didn't receive a response to that email. No further information about what DCS felt was incorrect about my review. So without any further information, there was nothing else I was able to correct. And after a few weeks of radio silence, I put the video back up.
All right. So again, what I just said, reaching out to the reviewer is key. Trying to make contact with the reviewer is key. It doesn't have to be a magazine reviewer for the brand to reach out to us, to talk to us, okay? Because if clearly, I mean, it's clear that brands now take us influencers seriously. It's clear. Right now, it's all clear to everyone. What we say carries weight, okay? But at the end of the day, I feel like sometimes we don't get that treatment that magazine reviewers get because, one, they're backed up by a magazine. Two, they have a business relationship where, you know, they're advertising on the magazine. So, of course, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. And three, these reviewers oftentimes have been doing this for far longer than most of us YouTubers have been reviewing equipment. So I understand that there might be another hierarchy, like a feel of like, this is up the ladder. Reviewers for a magazine, we treat them differently than influencers. But to me, that's flawed. That's flawed because if you're threatening influencers, YouTubers, that means that you feel that we are just as important for, you know, when it comes to what we say about a product. You make up your mind at some point, brands, not just DCS, every brand out there. If we're not important to you, no problem, but don't come tripping out when we speak our mind and say what we need to say about a particular product that you make. Okay, you got to keep that like right in front of you. If we mean nothing, don't trip out. That's all I got to say. Right. So let me see a couple of things from the chat for the time being. I am going to read what you guys have to say. Okay. Cameron comes off as a very fair reviewer and competent kind of guy. Such a silly way for DCS to handle simple something in that matter. I agree with that, Raphael. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's very much how I feel about what happened. Although we're not through with what just transpired over the last 24 hours, we're going to get there. So let's continue. I'm going to read another comment. Aggressive, yes, the email did come off a bit aggressive. I agree with you. It did lack a little bit of professionalism, I would say, which is surprising. And I would not expect this from a manufacturer. I would expect for the manufacturer to try to pick up the phone and get a hold of the reviewer and have a very nice professional conversation about the reviewer and exchange ideas to see how things can evolve. One of the things that shocked me that I got to say is this review took place in 2021. Why the hell are they worried about that review in 2024? What happened? Like, what has happened throughout the last 2 years that made DCS come back to this and take action in such way? That to me is something that I have not been able to figure out. If it's in your rear view mirror and it's been 2 years, why wake that up and bring it back from the dead? To me, it should have been left there 2 years ago. So that's something that I am trying to get an answer for as to why DCS, acted this way 2 years later. If they had a problem with the review, they should have addressed it on the spot. When it was made, when it was published, they should have handled it immediately, not wait 2 years. Was there any sort of like financial losses due to that review? Did they see a decrease in the sales of the Bar Talk since that review was published? Did they tie those numbers to what this reviewer had to say? I don't really know. I mean, I have no idea what has happened, but there has to come from someplace what took place, right? It has to come from somewhere. And I would be curious to know what DCS found out or how it impacted DCS for them to react in such way. Let me keep reading the comments. You wonder if that guy got fired. You mean the guy who sent that email? I mean, I gotta believe that he was reprimanded. I mean, I have to believe something must have been said. I hate for anyone to lose their job, but if he had a boss, I am assuming he heard it from that boss. Okay. But unless the company saw this email and they all said, send it, because we don't really know if that even took place. We don't know if that person who sent it showed it to other people and those other individuals within the company said, it's fine, send it out. We'll never know that. We'll never know that. We are going to get to that in a minute. Stay with us. Stay with us. Well, DCS is certainly getting a lot of hate from this, and I will share with you a couple of images about what has been said out and about. So stick around. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I'm doing a different live stream today. I want to keep you guys engaged, and I want to walk through this entire video with you all and allow you guys to make your comments. If you have any interest in being on camera and want to give your opinion about this entire situation from a user point of view, okay, an end user point of view, let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear and bring you on my live stream so you can share with the audience how you feel about this. Okay, from the video of the company, they look very highbrow people. Why? I have no idea. Okay. Did they also not like the fact that the DAC did not come directly from them, rather from a friend? Great question, Zachary. I have to believe there is some of that involved. But even then, I have had equipment in the past that I have reviewed that I bought from, the secondhand market. And I can't say that I've had a product come in and be absolutely different sounding than a product that I bought brand new, other than the breaking that needs to take place. Okay, so I don't really know. Maybe DCS wanted to send their own DAC for a review. That's a question that we probably will never get an answer to. Would I ever review one of their products? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem reviewing a DCS product. If they reached out to me, if they see this video and they wanted to contact me and talk, I'd be open to do a very, very objective, unbiased review. I actually had a brief conversation with someone from DCS at the show in Chicago, Expona, and they were talking to me about the Apex Vivaldi they have there. And so he handed me his card. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he talked about maybe the possibility of me taking one in here and giving it a listen in my own space. So we did have a brief connection. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to that, as long as they're willing to let me do my thing and let me, listen to it privately and give a very unbiased opinion. Yeah, I would have no problem doing that. The best part is they don't even sell that DAC anymore. Well, they do have, I believe, the Apex, the Bartok Apex, which is the new model. Okay, but then again, I go back to what you all said, what I just said earlier. This is 2 years ago. Why are we even going back to that? Why does that even matter, right? There's a new version that came out that is superior to the one that was reviewed. So they could have easily defended themselves by saying, oh yeah, I mean, we understand you didn't like it, but ever since that unit was retired, we have something far superior that I think will definitely blow your mind. Give us a call. We'll send you the new model for you guys for you to review. That could have been an easy way to to really show that they are moving ahead and they are really innovating and creating better products. All right, DCS is a UK company. They think they are the, this is not a democratic country. They don't have the freedom of speech the way that we have it in the US. I avoid buying anything from the UK. You avoid buying anything from the UK. Interesting. I never knew this, Mark. I can't speak. I've been to, London. I loved it. Beautiful country, but I don't know anything about the country itself, its policies, or anything like that. So I am going to take what you said with a grain of salt. Maybe they are in financial trouble. DCS being in financial trouble. I'm going to tell you this. I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. There are very few companies in this audio industry. Very few. I can probably count them with one hand. Companies that I believe are very, very solid financially. They have solid footing when it comes to their finances, excuse me. And I don't think that DCS is not one of those companies. I think DCS is one of those companies that has a solid, I mean, their books are solid. I don't believe DCS is on the struggle. I'd be shocked if tomorrow or in 2 months, DCS is filing for bankruptcy. I'd be shocked. Okay. Same thing with Wilson Audio. It's just, I don't think Wilson Audio is in any sort of financial trouble. Same thing with Magical. I think they are those elite groups of manufacturers that they have a great business model. They have great reputation. They have great products. I just don't think that they are companies that have one foot out the door. I just don't think so. I refuse to believe that DCS is in that position, is in that very bad financial position. I refuse to believe that. Okay, so Mark Fisher is saying I stopped buying scotch. This is so typical of British people. I never go there. Say the wrong thing and you'll go to jail. Again, I don't know anything about the law in that country. I don't know about the freedom of speech in that country. I couldn't say anything, but I think some of you are probably going a little bit above what the truth is. Okay, I don't think it's that harsh in that country. Wow. I mean, I'd be shocked if it is that harsh in Britain. Okay, the third paragraph, DCS latest statement. The third paragraph of DCS latest statement indicates their U.S. rep is no longer with the company. Are they referring to John Quick, their former guy, or John Giolas, the current guy? It's not clear. Good question. And if DCS is watching this right now, it would be great if they told everyone, if they had an answer to this question from Suncoast Audio, who is not a dealer for DCS, but it is a very fair question as far as what has transpired. I mean, this is pretty much public information oftentimes. So it would be great if DCS gave us a little more information with regards to what happened to either John Quick or John Giolas. It's not clear. I agree with Suncoast Audio. Okay, Caesar is saying he owns the Bar Talk Apex. I know the review is not about the this particular model. I listened to the Rossini with the external clock back to back. I prefer the Bar Talk. The Rossini is airier and more detailed. Cool. Thank you for that. Thank you for that as an end user. Okay, Hi-Fi Turtle. What's up, Hi-Fi Turtle? Suncoast Audio. Okay, so there it is. There's the answer. Suncoast Audio, Hi-Fi Turtle just disclosed what happened, who was fired and who wasn't. Okay, I'm looking at more. Okay. Another interesting one. UK, you can just say your opinions, you just can't lie. Okay. So someone is saying that you can be honest in the UK, you just can't be full of it. You'll be fabricating lies and stupid things to say, because that's when you get in trouble. And by the way, you also get in trouble in the United States for that. I said it earlier. You can say what you want in this country. Nobody will stop you, but it comes with receipts. Always receipts. And that's what makes people pump the brakes. Remember that. Always. So now I'm going to move on to another part, okay, of this fiasco of what has been transpiring. So you guys saw the video, okay, about the entire situation, the communication between DCS and the headphone show. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to bring you guys back to a statement that DCS has made on their website for you all to see and understand how DCS has handled this entire thing. And let me show you what that is right now. At the moment, I want to show you what this says. So give me a second. Okay. All right, folks. So here we go. So on July 15th, I published a statement responding to videos posted by Golden Sound and headphones.com, which detail recent communications between DCS and Golden Sound. After reading headphones.com official response to the statement, speaking directly to Andrew and carrying out internal investigation, I have since discovered that parts of the statement were incorrect. I am deeply sorry to learn this. Okay, it's interesting that he's already apologizing. Dave is already apologizing. David Stephen, who happens to be the DCS managing director, okay, of this company. My statement was issued in good faith and based on information I believe to be accurate. I have since then discovered that certain information regarding this matter provided to me by an individual at DCS was not correct. This individual is no longer at DCS. Okay, so this is part of what I guess Suncoast Audio was asking. This person's no longer there. I think they could have been a little clearer as far as what happened. Because, by the way, it's actually a great thing that they took action and unfortunately it cost someone's job. Because that shows how they took this matter. That shows that basically they're not going to tolerate this type of behavior or communication with any person. So I applaud DCS for handling it this way. That shows that they mean business. Okay, they're not playing games. So that's a great thing on their part. Now I'm going to move forward to basically what they're saying here, which is they're going to be reaching out to Cameron to confirm that no legal action will be taken and to apologize for any distress that this situation may have caused. So again, I applaud DCS for that because they are reassuring everyone that nothing is going to come out of this. They're going to leave it as is. It's all good. They're not going to sue the headphone show or Cameron or anybody because of what transpired. However, I do believe that one of the reasons why this was done is because they saw the backlash. They saw everyone's reaction in the comments section of this video that the headphone show released. Okay. And when they started reading these comments and on forums, which we'll go to next, I think DCS saw the writing on the wall and they realized this can get out of hand and we need to take action real quick. And so by them saying that they have fired the person that essentially they felt started this internally, and also they are basically saying that we're not going to take any legal action. This is not going to happen. You guys are good. This is showing you signs that they see, man, this got bigger than we thought it would. Okay. And that's what happens when you do this to influencers. I got to say this. This is exactly what takes place when brands are trying to be sneaky and funny like this. Okay. I hope that any brand who's watching this show today can take a page out of what just transpired between DCS and the headphone show and Camera. Okay, and also what happened between Tecton and the other reviewer, I forgot his name, excuse me for that. Hopefully you'll rip a page out of those two situations and read it and see it, what can happen. It's not a good look for any brand to handle things like this with legal actions. It is not a good look. People can get really sensitive. Potential customers of yours can get really mad and angry. And all that does is infuriate more people when your behavior is that way. So I am telling you, do not do this. Do not show this type of behavior because it can get out there and it can become public and then it's going to look really bad on you all. Please. So now at the end, I wanted to close this out with what basically happened. This situation has caused distress for all involved, especially Cameron. We note his comments on his videos and other channels stating that Cameron enjoyed the DCS Lena system. And basically now DCS is trying to repair the relationship by sending Cameron a DCS Lena system, which will be a gift from the company for Cameron. So they're going to send Cameron a brand new DCS Lena DAC for all this trouble that this may have cost him, and basically what transpired. Again, another great thing on DCS's part, and I know people are going to be talking crap about this. They're going to say, oh, look, they're trying to be nice now and give him a unit. That's just typical behavior, okay? That's typical behavior from a lot of people who are close to the situation. Those people that are angry, okay? But it's nice that they did that as well. I still do not believe it repairs a lot of what transpired. I still feel that a lot of people will be very bitter about how things went down between DCS and Cameron and the headphone show. I think this is still going to be a very touchy subject, and it's going to be something that they need to work on together. The headphone show, Cameron and DCS, they really need to come together and repair this mess because, yeah, I can see how DCS has felt bad about the situation, how everything went down. I totally get it. And I would be mad too if I had a brand and I was building products and this took place. I mean, honestly, it hurts. It really hurts. And so at the end of the day, this is what the entire situation has done. Let me show you what is being said at this time so that you have an understanding of the impact that this initial situation had on some people. I'm going to show you now, share my screen, so you see some of the comments that are being made out and about around this whole thing. So here's a website that is basically talking about what transpired. Okay. And I want to show you guys really quick some of the comments so you have an understanding of what's being said. This person already posted this video on his Facebook page. Traffic is about 800,000 views a month. The ship has sailed, and they're thinking their actions were going to go unnoticed. And I really believe they're saying, so basically this guy is saying, I'm going to share this video no matter what. I don't care. Their actions will not go unnoticed. So here is Tecton tried to recently do the same thing with a reviewer. It's costing them a lot of money in cancel orders, and they quickly backtracked. So I have added DCS as a list of the companies that I will never, ever allow any kind of discussion or promotion on any of my platforms. So here's another person that has a DCS Vivaldi Apex. And he's saying they're glad that they went in a different direction regarding this type of behavior. And he will never, here it is, I will never consider them for anything in the future. And will most likely sell my Rossini Apex. So this is like what I'm saying, right? This is the damage. This is the situation. Now all these forums have people making comments like this. Now all these forums are going to feed this energy to other potential buyers. And so other potential buyers that are interested in the brand are going to look at what happened, and it's just, it spreads like it's like a disease, right? That's what I'm saying. This is what happens. Okay. That's not what I wanted to see. But at the end of the day, the power of social media, guys, it's crazy. It really is crazy. But anyway, let me see if I have any questions here from anyone. See what people are saying. Well, I don't think that's true. I don't think that he had to sell his DAC to cover legal fees. Nothing happened. Like I said, like they said, nothing happened. Tecton's reaction was such a shit show. Yeah, I think they went overboard as well. But you got to keep in mind, guys, you got to keep in mind one thing, okay? Tecton is not a large company. I mean, this is not Wilson Audio we're talking about. This is not, Magic, but certainly not Focal, who is larger than Wilson and Magical combined, okay? These are small operations. So anything that's said about them in a negative way really hurts them. Really, really hurts them. These small players cannot afford to be destroyed. So I understand the panic that they were in, right? The panic that they encounter when you see things written about your product, a company that you're trying to get off the ground. And Tecton, as good as it is, it's not at the level of the big players when it comes to the brand perception and recognition. DCS, on the other hand, is a big player. They are one of the top dogs. Some of the best stores in the United States carry DCS. Okay, if it's not DCS, it's MSB. I'm telling you right now, any top level audio store in the US carries either MSB or DCS. These big operations will have either or because they are big players in the industry. They are well-known brands. You want to have these brands at your store because they honestly, they sell. They do sell. Good question. Let me see what Suncoast Audio is saying. Is the industry afraid to hire outside of the industry to bring in new blood? It seems the same guys get recycled around and around from firm to firm. We need new blood, people from different backgrounds. Well, I am of different background. I believe Turtle Hi-Fi is of different background. I believe we have other reviewers I can't think of right now that are of different backgrounds. We are of different backgrounds. And I agree with you. Diversity is key in the industry. Here's a good question for many of you. Great question. Okay. I am very fluent in Spanish. Very fluent. As a matter of fact, a lot of people at shows, especially in Munich, when a lot of the Spanish audiophiles came from Madrid and Barcelona, they were like shocked at the fact that I was able to speak to them in Spanish, right? They didn't believe it. They're like, my God, why don't you start a Spanish channel? You would be just much bigger, right? Because we don't have anyone in the United States with the level of gear that you have speaking Spanish. I think, to me, I just have not exploited my native language yet within the industry. But I can see how that would be great for me to migrate that particular part of me and help brands expand in different countries that, unfortunately, I'll keep it real, the typical American reviewer doesn't reach. Okay. You have so many like wealthy people in Brazil, in Argentina, in Spanish speaking countries that don't speak any English. And here I am living with the ultra high end, and I can easily have a full blown conversation with someone in Spanish and explain to them why this brand is what it is, why I have chosen that brand, what's so special about these brands. I do believe that they're very, very sometimes closed-minded. The industry as a whole, the audio industry, okay, they need more diversity. Another thing that you guys are going to laugh at, okay, which is tying with what Sonko Stadio is asking and suggesting here. I mean, I've been approached by a lot of African American audiophiles. I was approached at the event at 3MA in Houston, Texas. I was approached at shows as well in Dallas. This last show in Dallas, and they were asking me, like, man, they were telling me, excuse me, man, it's so awesome to have a brother review equipment because I feel it's completely saturated by white folks. It's like, I don't know if part of the resume needs to be that you're light skinned to be accepted into the school of reviewers. And I started laughing because I'm like, I'm Spanish, I'm Latin, right? I'm not African American, but they feel a little closer to me, right? When they see me, they feel like they can bond with me better. That's something that I've noticed, and so I do agree that they need to be more diverse. As a matter of fact, my last job, full disclosure, you may not know this, my last job, the one that I had, okay, I was a diversity hire. And I found out through human resources. I literally was a hire because of my ethnic background. The rest of the team was white, 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 one African American, and then me, Latin. So I know I was a diversity hire because big, serious companies, the big companies, in this case, I was working for a large accounting firm, okay, they need to have a level of diversity. It's almost unspoken words. If you want to be seen as a great place to work, part of the requirement, in case you do not know, and I know this because I work for HR, okay? Part of the requirement is that you have a diverse company. If your company in the United States is mainly white people or black people, you are not qualified to apply and to be talked about as one of the greatest places to work in America. That's a fact. You can check me on what I'm telling you. You can check me on what I'm telling you because I was a diversity hire. So that's what real companies are doing. Now I know the industry, audio industry, is not as large. This company that I work for had approximately 10,000 employees. Okay. So, and then the last one prior to that, I had about 20,000 employees. Part of the agenda is why is your team all white people? Why is your team all black people? Yeah, when you're a manager and you're answering to your boss, that boss comes with instructions from the guy above or the woman above him. And they're looking down and saying, why is this team all black people, all Asians, or Hispanics? I don't see any diversity. Fix it. And they have to get out there and find qualified candidates from different ethnic backgrounds. That's what real companies are doing. Okay. And I'm telling you right now because I worked for HR. In case you do not know, I know this is a fact. I'm telling you this. Okay. Little BS companies, little hole in the walls, that don't matter. Because they're not trying to be as one of the greatest places to work. As a matter of fact, Google this, if this is such a thing. Great places to work. Companies that have this logo that says great places to work in 2024 or 2023, it has a little sticker on it. That is an application that you have to go through. And part of the requisite is that your company has diversity. Yes. Okay. Now you know. Now you're schooled on this. The audio industry, on the other hand, is I don't feel they have diversity. Point blank, they don't. So let me see the next one. Boulder, I agree. Boulder has young blood. Boulder Electronics, Boulder Amplifiers. They have Logan. Logan is in his 20s, I think, maybe mid to high 20s, late 20s. Okay, great guy. He told me, Logan, in case you haven't seen you don't know who he is, watch the Boulder factory tour. He's the guy who's walking with me throughout the entire factory. Okay, guy had absolutely no experience with power amplifiers or the audio industry as a whole. I want to say he worked for like the restaurant industry. And Jeff Nelson, who is the owner of the company, I think talked to him briefly and hired him with no experience, saw potential in him. The guy learned everything from the ground up, and look what he's doing now. Perfect example of what Sonko Stadio is saying. So they have been able to get out there and find people with different skill sets and really help them grow within the industry. But I agree that I see a lot of recycling heads throughout the industry, throughout the audio industry all the time. This guy gets fired, he goes to another audio company, and there is a lot of that. I agree with that, Sonko Stadio. This is very true, buddy. This is true in most industries. I will say that. In the audio industry, you're going to get to see a lot of recycling heads. And to your point, it probably is because of the fact that they want to keep hiring only individuals that have exposure to different brands, so that when you're saying DCS, when you're saying, Wilson Audio, they know like what the hell you guys are talking about. So I understand that it's such a small industry. It really is. We see. This is what a real CEO does, right? This is what a real person does. Apologizes, tries to make it right, and gives a statement. And I think that it helps. It's not gonna erase everything that happened. I can tell you that. You already have some people that will never buy your brand, but I think the way they took action speaks volumes about them. They took it seriously to fire the person that I guess sent the email out, and they have reached out to Cameron and the headphone show. They've tried to, make peace with them and see how they can build this relationship and keep working together going forward. That's a great way of doing things. My thing is, and I think everyone here can agree, it didn't need to get to this point. It didn't need to get to this point. The review should have been left alone. As I said earlier, and I've mentioned it before, it is healthy to see some negative reviews about your brand. It can't be all perfect. Again, I go back to my explanation of seeing a product on Amazon that you want to buy for your house, and it has 500 reviews and 5 stars. It looks suspect to me. Why is it a perfect score? Right? That's what I'm saying. It can't be perfect. So it's not bad to have a product that someone didn't like. That's actually healthy, in my opinion. It's good. It's really good to see something that someone didn't like. It's fine, because maybe you have 4 other people that will review it and will say something of the opposite, to the opposite effect. That's what I'm saying. Okay, damage control has been done. I agree. Damage control has been done, Joseph. No question about it. Just because of one altercation, you don't need to throw them completely under the bus. I'm going to tell you this, Zachary, and this is something that I think many of you have faced. You guys, many of you have been working hard jobs, okay? Long career, have done everything and gone above and beyond what your boss has asked of you, right? You have stayed longer. You've worked 80 hours when you were supposed to work 40. You have come in on a Saturday. You have been the perfect employee, right? And the one time you make a mistake, one time, everything good you did no longer matters. And that's what's sad about us as humans. You've done 50 great things for someone, and the one mistake you made erases everything good you've done in the past. And that's really sad because I've been a victim of that too. But it is what it is. It's just how we are. A lot of people will take this mishap, this problem, this situation that happened between these two, and essentially use it going forward to have a reason to not purchase the brand, to not purchase their products. It sucks, but it is us humans who create this environment, unfortunately. I got to say, you're a cool dude and knowledgeable. You're a very welcome asset to the community. I got to say, I still like the Wilson audios better. Hey, man, they're great speakers. I've never said anything bad about Wilson. They're great speakers, man. My DCS left a long time ago, so I feel good to be away from the brand after this nonsense. I don't really have anything to really come back with, buddy. I understand your sentiment, but to be fair, what you own, I don't think was the latest Apex model of the brand. So your experience, just like mine, I don't really know what the Apex models sound like. Okay, is very limited. We ended years ago with the brand, but at that point in time, we made a conscious decision to bring something new and different. Right? We wanted a change, so we bought something else. In your case, I believe you have MSB, and so did I after owning the Vivaldi. Right? So we wanted a change of sound, sonics. But I see when you say nonsense because of how DCS really handled it. But I also will question this, buddy, and I want to make sure that everyone hears me. It's not how you start; it's how you end that matters the most, right? It's how you end something. It's how you end your career. Did you leave on top? Did you go out on a good note? Did you go out with great presence? To me, that's the most important. It's not how you entered. It's not how you began the situation. It's how it was ended. To me, that should be the most important part of anything in life. I hope you agree with me because you see what I'm getting at, right? So I hope that they can make things right. And I hope that they can really turn this around and make a good situation out of a bad one. I mean, I don't think so, man. Cameron strikes me as a very solid dude. I don't think he's a dishonest guy. Just a gut feeling, right? I can't really vouch for him, but it tells me that I don't think he would be the person to say something good about the Lena just because he got it for free. I just don't think he would be that dude, you know. Plus, obviously, if he came out with that review, it wouldn't look good on him, right? Or DCS. So I don't think it's to either of their benefit. Either one is it's not to their benefit to have any sort of review, any review of a DCS product to me anytime soon. I think DCS reviews from him need to kind of stop for a little bit because I don't think they would be something that many people would trust right now. Next question. I'm a big fan of DCS. I really enjoy the music they make. I honestly believe their price is in line with what you get. If you started watching this live stream from the beginning, I said it very clearly. I think they do offer great products. They are one of the leading brands when it comes to digital, when it comes to streaming, when it comes to CD players. They are. Nobody can take that away from them. No one here can sit here and say DCS is at the bottom of the digital world. Nobody is going to sit here and say that blasphemy. I think we can all agree. If you've been doing this at a high level, we can all agree they are out there. They are one of the top brands when it comes to digital. It doesn't have to be a brand you love. It doesn't have to be a brand that you would buy for you. But let's not take away from them either and who they are in terms of their presence in this industry. I want to know if Sonko Stadio would like to be on camera, giving his thoughts about this. If you're still online, Sonko Stadio, let me know, and I can send you the link privately and bring you on so you can express your sentiments about what has transpired. I would love to hear from anyone right now on camera to give me their take and how they're feeling about this, because it is important that we put end users and give them the mic to speak about how they feel. All right, let's see. And buddy, if you want to be on camera, buddy, let me know. I will give you a link and you can just click that link and give us your take on things, because it seems like you definitely have a very strong opinion about how you feel about this entire situation. So I'm sure the audience would love to hear and see you. I will not be doing any review of the MSB S500. Unfortunately, that amplifier left. I no longer have it. Dawn, your honesty, Jay, your honesty, integrity, and knowledge are refreshing when you review high audio. It is as fair and as you state, it is your opinion. As the CEO for DCS, the culture starts at the top. Yeah, actually, that's very true. Actually, that's very true that within a lot of these companies, Dawn, and it happened when I worked for this other huge high-profile company here in South Florida. What they did is they started firing all the managers and those under managers, right? In hope that hiring new talent would elevate the stock value, because it is a publicly traded company, where the company that I work for, in hope that it would fix a lot of the problems internally for the company. And so they fire like maybe 400 or 500 employees 5 years ago. And these were mainly managers, leads, and senior positions and stuff like that. Long story short, that didn't work. So they did a second round of layoffs 2 years later, the same levels, right? Third time, they fire those at the top. A lot of VPs, a lot of executives, a lot of people at the top, and no one under got touched. And that's when the company began to make progress, when they brought new vision, young blood, to and new ideas. That's when they realized that cancer was at the top. The cancer was not at the bottom. The cancer was at the top. And that's when they cut it out and finally dared to do chemotherapy on this cancer, and the company began to have more success. So I agree with you. All right, buddy. Okay, no problem. Maybe next time you try to join the call and see if we can have a discussion. Let me see what else you guys are asking. I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions you may have, so we can finally end this chapter. This is the only video I will do about the situation. I will not make another video. I want to make sure you guys are understanding of that. I'm just not in position to continue to drag this out. If DCS decides to reach out to me, you guys will know. I want to make sure that I give you that transparency. Okay. In the industry, we have 4 situations. One, manufacturer has a local rep who's their full-time employee. 2, they have a rep firm. 3, they have a distributor. 4, none. They are dealer direct. Well, if they're dealer direct, which is, I think what you're saying is companies like PS Audio that sell direct to the customer where there is no middleman. Yes. So I see the 4 types of, you have one that has a rep like Macintosh. They have sales reps and stuff like that. Yep. Will they ever change their approach? That's a tough question to ask me, because I think my short time in this industry wouldn't allow me to see as deep and with the same set of eyes that you have, since you've been doing this longer than I have. But I see the different types of structures that you're referring to, Mike. I understand what you're trying to say. I just don't know internally how that works, because I've never been in the trenches with them. I've never been deep inside to understand the layers within, if that makes sense. So that's a tough question for me to answer if they'll ever change, because I could say yes, but then I don't know the ins, meaning, no, GA, we can't, because this is how business flows. It gets built here, then it gets packed, then it gets shipped to this person, and then I need to know the levels to understand if there's a way of breaking up that sequence that they have internally. I feel like companies should learn from this. I thought the Tecton instance was enough. I am actually surprised that DCS did not see the situation that transpired with Tecton and that other online reviewer. I'm surprised that they didn't have a close set of eyes on that situation, because they should have easily seen that and realized we do not need to be next, right? We do not need to be next. We need to handle it differently. So, but I think more brands, by the way, guys, are watching us influencers, and they're taking note on what's happened with DCS and what's happened with Tecton. I think they're writing it down and they're realizing we do not want to be next. We do not want to be next. When a bad review is published, we got to handle this differently. This legal action, these threats, this is not the way to go about doing business. I think a lot of brands will take notice and will begin to act differently. So you're wondering if DCS will go in a different approach to the U.S. market? That's a good question. I will say that they might start having discussions. Again, I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but I could easily see how now they're going to have tighter controls internally so that this doesn't happen again. I believe now someone will be in charge at the top and really watching things closer when it comes to social media, when it comes to reviews. I have a feeling someone will be on top of it for sure. Someone will be on top of it, so things like this do not transpire anymore. It's my pleasure. Before I made the decision to make this video in the form of a live stream, I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the video itself so you can watch it with me, make comments, also take your questions, also show you posts from different forums, and of course, the final statement from DCS and how they have answer to this entire situation, okay? Because I think it's important that we highlight the fact that they have handled it, even though the damage has been done. Unfortunately, you cannot take that back. Even if that video disappeared, I just don't think it will help anything. As a matter of fact, I think it would be worse if they were to take it down, because it just wouldn't have the right look. If I can give DCS advice, it would be, don't have the headphone show take down that video. Don't do that. I think it's showing that you're trying to control the narrative. I don't think it's great for DCS if that happens. I think that video should just be left alone there. And maybe down the road, a year later, one day it just vanishes. I don't think it would be a great thing for DCS to have them take the video down after they get closer to them, they shake hands. I don't think they should ask of the headphone show and Cameron to, hey, now that we're cool and we're boys again, we're on track, can you take the video down? I don't think that's a smart move for DCS. I really don't think they should ask for that. There is a good old expression that says, no good deed goes unpunished, or no good deeds go unpunished. I mean, that's certainly true, because it happens to us, right? At work, with what we do, our actions, have consequences. So it happens to everyone. I think their consequences are clear now, and I think they are learning from their mistakes, no doubt. Who keeps reviewers in check? Well, I think that it depends on the reviewer. Okay. And I'm speaking from my experience. I think reviewers are kept in check if there is some sort of a financial incentive in the middle. Or in the case of magazines, clearly, I can't see a magazine write and publish a bad review on a brand that is buying advertising that has a page on their magazine. I just don't see the magazine telling the reviewer, yeah, just tell the truth, and if it sucks, just we'll publish that. They just spent, $24,000 worth of advertising for the year. I don't think magazines will do that. And to be quite frank, and again, I gotta keep it real, I don't think I could do it either. I don't think I could do it either. I don't think I could write something negative about someone who's investing in my company. I just how think about it for yourselves. Whatever business you're in, whatever industry you're in, how could you say something negative about a business partner that's putting money in your pocket to allow your business to continue to move forward? And it doesn't have to be about reviews in general, whether it be construction, whether it be airplanes, whatever the hell you're into. I just don't think you could. That's the problem. That's the gray area that has never been clear for many of us, that we don't have a way of saying, how do we get objective reviews on magazines that are getting paid by these products, by these brands to advertise? It's hard. It's a really difficult thing to do. It's a really difficult thing to do. So how do reviewers keep in check are in check? Honestly, it has to do with the integrity of the reviewer, and also knowing that them saying something negative is not going to impact their pockets. It's all about the money, quite frankly. If there's no money in the middle, a reviewer can say anything. But remember what I said earlier, there are receipts. Always. With any of this, there are receipts. And sometimes the reviewer may say, I am not going to court, man. I am not going to embark on having anxiety or anything like that. Okay, High Fire Turtle. This is DCS's second go around in the US. They closed their US offices before and let everyone go. Then they established a new US office with all the new staff a few years ago. Okay, well, thank you for that feedback, man. Didn't know that. I don't follow DCS that close to know their internal structure and their staff and anything, but we appreciate that feedback. Interesting, though. We'll see what happens after this. Chris, this is what's bad about it, Chris. It's all over Reddit and obviously the ASR website and other forums. I agree. It spreads like a virus, unfortunately. So now the journey to normalcy, the DCS's journey back to normalcy, to being just normal again, is going to be hard. I think they have an uphill battle, and it's going to be part of cleaning up their image. It's going to be difficult. It can be done. It can be done, but they have a uphill battle. No question about that. Who is LTT? I don't know. I have no idea who LTT is. Let us know who LTT is. This is a good comment-based therapy. I do agree that the audience can keep a lot of these things in check. But remember, without your support, without the audience support, there's only so much we can do. This is why I said, when we are in some sort of a bad situation with a brand because of our review that we wrote, nobody has our back. No attorneys come out of the woods. Reviewers, I have 20,000 subscribers. I don't think there is an attorney sending me a letter saying, if they give you any sort of crap, Jay, this is my number, call me. I will represent you for free. It won't cost you a dime. We don't have that. We don't have it like that. You see what I'm saying? That gives us that pause to say, I am not writing this about this brand because I know how this is going to go down for me, and I need to get some sleep, right? That's what I think. I think the anxiety that comes with it, the constant back and forth, can really affect your mental health. It can really hurt you. For what, though? You see what I'm saying? What's the financial gain at all as an objective reviewer? There is none. If anything, it's a financial loss by being 100% transparent about not liking a product and writing something publicly about it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's what sucks. But the audience really supported us. Our audience, our subscribers really said to us, speak your mind, tell us the truth, and we got you. If you get in a mess, here's phone numbers you call, we got you. Believe me, we will protect you. Maybe reviewers will feel a lot safer that way. Maybe. See, I think reviews are good to get a perspective of what sound like with different components, especially with people like Jay who review a wide range of products, also other reviewers. Yeah, it's a good point, Zachary. Good point. This is a good, obviously a good advice. It's to really live with the equipment or listen to it at your local store and get in touch with your local dealer. I agree. If you want to know what a product does in your system, ideally you buy it, but I know it's not possible. Not many people can do the craziness that I do. I get it 100%. That's the hard part about this hobby. Okay. It's very difficult to buy all the stuff that I am buying and selling and buying and selling. I mean, it's hard. I no longer have the time to listen to music as I once did because I have to be here with y'all. I have to be communicating and engaging with you, creating reviews, talking about the next product. So that's what's sad about what I'm doing now. Okay, so good. R. Lee Steely, I think it's important to recognize that social media has dramatically reduced the cost of being a reviewer, and that in the past, professional reviewers were part of a well-established publication. Yep, that's a great point. Yep, that's a great point. I agree with that. And I think that brands again acknowledging the power of social media is key. If you do not acknowledge it, you're as good as dead, especially when you're selling something, when you are a manufacturer of some sort. This is true. It's not illegal for brands to pay for a review. There is nothing illegal about it. It is unethical, but it's not illegal. That's right. It is not illegal to pay for a good review. It is not. It is just unethical. See this channel, Lena's Tech Tips, a channel with over 10 million subscribers. Yeah, I mean, we will never see that in the audio industry. You'll never see a YouTuber with 2-3 million subscribers. Never. We're too small of an industry, way too small. So they are a computer channel that has gone after audiophile products in a negative way before. I don't believe what people say when they're not specialized on a particular type of product or industry. Here's why. If I were to grab someone random off the streets, if I went to Home Depot, Lowe's, my local supermarket, and I grab anybody that has absolutely never heard a system at this level, and I replaced one power cord with another power cord and expected them to articulate and tell me what changed sonically speaking, to me, that's stupid on my part. I couldn't expect that from someone who doesn't have the experience necessary to really, really hone in on what changed. The experience that you gain by listening to your system day in, day out is in the form of having more refined gears. You can actually pick up changes much easier than someone who's never been exposed to systems like what we have. That's something you always have to keep in mind every single time. So when people that are in the computer business are talking about high-end audio, I think that's an unqualified opinion. I'm not even going to listen to that. When you hear an opinion from someone who reviews a $99 DAC about a $30,000 DAC and their takeaway is it's a waste of money, I couldn't hear a difference. If that's all they have been exposed to, I don't take that advice seriously. I take qualified opinions from those who live around the components that I'm interested in buying. And I don't mean me. I mean, if your budget is half of what I normally have here or a third, you find those people that review products that are tailored to you and your budget and your budget. So that's why when you tell me this guy from this 10 million sub channel is talking garbage about reviewers and audiophile products, that's not a qualified opinion. I would just go hit next and go to another video. Tecton just released a video giving you credit for his redesign of the Oofer. He did? Really? Oh man, send me that link. That's cool. There you go. Oh, look at that. Jay is creating some positive impact out there. Good. I'm glad to know. Send me that link, man. I have never seen that video. He gave me credit. They took apart Nordo's gear and it was interesting. Yeah, I need to see that. Headphone specialists, please answer Martin Williams in the chat room about his question with regards to headphones. I am not a headphone guru. I couldn't tell you if headphones would pick up more detail than an actual system in a room. So LTT has covered some high-end stuff before, headphones, Sennheiser's, Meridian's top-of-the-line system, positively. He's not super hot on the super luxury stuff, but I wouldn't call it negative. Okay, interesting. All right. All the big reviewers are getting paid. This is a great video that I could make. I mean, they're getting paid by the magazines because the big reviewers, are under the magazine's payroll. So yeah, they have to get paid. I mean, I gotta believe top reviewers are making six figures all day long, every day. They're getting probably, tremendous discounts with the equipment that they hold on to for long, extended periods of time. So I would say, if I am going to guess, there's no reason why reviewers, when they're looking to purchase a product for themselves, a product they want to hang on to, that they like, I gotta believe these top reviewers are getting easily 60% off MSRP, 65, maybe 70% off, depending on what it is. I have to believe that. I have to believe they're getting nice discounts. Now, whether that's good or not, it's open for debate. But I do believe that reviewers are certainly getting, great discounts. And I'm no one to judge. I have never bought anything at a massive discount and reviewed it. Here's what I mean by that. Most of the stuff that you see here is stuff that I bought from the secondhand market. I'd say 90% of what I have here, right? So that's why I'm free to say what I wish. But remember what I said to you. Remember what I said to you. I am free to say what I wish because I buy everything with my own money, but it comes with receipts. So if right now I were to say something bad about these Sonos Faber, which I love, I have nothing bad to say about them. I bought them, right? Nobody can stop me. It doesn't change my quality of life. I still keep making the same money I'm making. It doesn't impact me. But one day, if I ever wanted to buy a Sonos Faber speaker that came out and I'm really thrilled and I really want to get my hands on it, it could be a difficult thing for me to do. So doors can close for the future. That is something you cannot stop. That can happen. And this brand will talk to the other brand and say, look what he did to us. If you work with him, he's going to do the same thing to you. And then that continues to the next brand and the next brand. That happens. That happens. It's like Hollywood. You heard about getting blackballed, being on the blacklist of Hollywood. You notice how some actors no longer appear? Actors that were popping back in the day, you saw them in like movies almost every weekend. They vanished, blacklisted. That's what happens. It can happen to you within the industry. You can get blacklisted. Easy to be done. Easy to be. It's doable. And then it just makes it harder for you to keep moving forward. This is a good question here. I don't really know if this type of Chinese product, never heard of it, by the way, is as good as the MSB DAC for a fifth of the price. Am I going to say no? I can't say that because I've never had it here. Maybe it does deliver for a fifth of the price. A lot of people want to find DCS, MSB level of products for cents on the dollar because people feel like it's digital product. It's not that expensive to make. It's a couple of DACs inside that are off the shelf, a chassis, outputs, and a volume integrated, and that should be it, right? A lot of people want to see these ultra cheap DACs beat $100,000, $200,000 DACs, and the reality is, I've never seen it done. But let me tell you something. If I saw it done and I heard it in my own room, and that was a fact, that it is just as good, my expensive DAC is up for sale immediately. I don't play. I'll put that money in the bank and invest it in something else. I will be the first one to tell you, this is killer. I bought it, and that's my new DAC now. And I sell whatever I have. No question about it. I'll be the first one to do it. Carlos, you make a very interesting point. The problem is that in order to prevent this nonsense, you're saying don't publish any review that you do not like. I agree with you. But what the masses, what everyone will say, those that are sitting next to you, right, that are end users, will say, wait a minute, Carlos. What do you mean? So how the hell do we find out what sucks, what product this guy doesn't like and why he doesn't like it? He must have heard it that he doesn't like it. We want to know what he doesn't like and tell us why you didn't like the product. See, that could be the argument from those that sit next to you as an end user. See what I'm saying? So then that looks bad too, because then people are going to complain and say, well, he never talked about it, so I'm not going to assume that because he never talked about it, that he didn't like it. What if he never bought it? What if he never got around to it? I'm assuming he doesn't like it. Right now, many people used to have this narrative about me not liking CH Precision for some reason because I've never had it. And now I have a CH Precision preamplifier. And I think it's a fantastic preamplifier. One of the best preamplifiers I've had in here. See what I'm saying? But it was not because I felt it was bad. I just never got around to it. The stars never aligned in the past. But now I have a CH Precision product here. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot assume all the time that just because someone doesn't have a product, that it means they must think it sucks. Now, sometimes that's not the case. Chris Mag, I think it's far more common for a reviewer to get a product, review it, and then decide if they want to buy it. And that's assuming the OEM wants to sell a review unit. Yeah, that's true. That's far more common. I agree with you. And most of the time they do have no problem selling the review unit or just selling them a brand new piece, because the review unit sometimes is a broken in unit that needs to travel to different magazines, different reviewers for their particular article. I get it, James. I know you don't want to be part of the DCS cult and DCS brand, and I understand that. Like, you don't want to own it. I get it. But remember what I said. It's not how you enter, it's how you go out. The most important part, right? It's not how. There's another saying that says, "What makes a man is not, you know, how strong you are. It's actually after defeat. It's not how many wins you have. It's actually how you stand up after a loss. How do you come back? That's what defines a man. It's not how many wins you have, right? How do you get back up after you lost one? That's what makes you really learn more. And maybe this is a learning experience for DCS and for other brands to realize this can't be done. This can't be done, especially with influencers that have a following. You can't do that with influencers, with YouTubers. Anyone who's on YouTube and has a following, you got to be more careful. You got to handle these platforms differently than you handle your partners at the publications, the typical magazine publications that write articles about your product. This is true, Chris. The budget components are typically, what I have seen is they're typically given for a positive review. Not all the time. I want to say this very clearly. It's not all the time. Okay. But if it's like a $350,000 Wilson, I can assure you ain't no reviewer that's going to get a Wilson audio, $350,000 Wilson audio for free for a positive review. It's not happening. Okay. That's not happening. They'll get it at a great discount if they want to keep it, or it's a loan for 2-3 years until they move on to the next one. And at that point, the brand comes in, picks it up, brings it back to the factory. They essentially refinish it. They make it brand new again, and they sell it to a dealer for a good deal. That's typically what happens. Okay. Typically what happens with top product is they can hang on to it for longer, live with it until they want to do something else. And at that point, the brand will come in and pick it up. Sometimes what happens though is, let's say you want product A and you're a reviewer. They'll give you a really good deal. They'll give you 50 points off, 50% off, right, for the product. But they'll tell you you can't sell it for this amount of time. If you sell it, if you want to sell it, we have the first right to buy it back for the money that you paid us for it, because they don't want you to make money on it by selling it. That I have seen. Just so you know, that is a thing. Yes, I've had air acoustic products from Boulder, Colorado. You can see those on my channel at some point in my early days. Yeah, this is normal. If you are in the industry, you work for a brand, you're going to get good prices. Absolutely. The truth is, DCS DACs don't sound that great. I had the CFB discrete DAC and it blew the top of the DCS stack apart at 10% of the price. Interesting. Never heard of this brand. I have no reason to say you're lying. It is your experience in your own room with your own electronics. So I take it as, okay, cool. If that's what you found, I have no reason to say you're not telling the truth. And stick with Mola Mola. Mola Mola, great DAC, of course. I made the review. If you haven't seen the review of the Mola Mola DAC, please check it out on my channel. Look it up, Mola Mola Tobacco Review, Jay's Audio Lab. You'll get to see it there. One great, surprising DAC for the money. Really, it punches way above its price point. Nothing bad to say about that DAC. Fantastic DAC from the Netherlands. One of the better offerings that I've had here for the money. It shows you how much can be achieved for $15,000-$17,000, I think it is. And obviously, when you have a bright mind behind the design of such DAC, it really shows you what's feasible. So, well, folks, I've been here for nearly 2 hours. I hope this video has been very helpful for those of you who did not know anything about what transpired between DCS and the headphone show. In closing, I want to say to the headphone show that I want to thank them for their transparency. I want to thank the headphone show for being so upfront about the entire situation. I really look up to what they did, and really look up to seeing. I really look up to their honesty. Excuse me. That is something that will definitely not go unnoticed by me. So I never heard of you guys, never heard of the Headphone Show, but now I have due to what transpired. Unfortunately, I've heard of you due to these, due to this circumstance with DCS. But kudos to you for keeping it real, 100%. And for DCS, I want to say, that it's not about what happened; it's how you get back up and how you make it right and how you turn things around. I do think that DCS is a great company. I do think that they build quality products. And it's been a minute since I've had a DCS product, but don't be surprised if you see one in the future at some point. What I can say right now is that you shouldn't be concerned with what's being said on forums. You can't control that anymore. Okay, you cannot worry about what you have no control over. You have no control over what people will be saying about what transpire. All you can do is control what you have control over. And this in this case is your future, your vision, and how you're going to turn things around for your brand. Okay, I still believe you guys are one of the top brands in the audio industry. That, my opinion, has not changed because of what transpired. But I do think that a little more tact and respect to us influencers is key, because you can see now the consequences of such actions. Okay. Hopefully, the rest of the brands watching my live stream, hopefully, you have taken notes of what has been transpiring so that you are not caught in this same situation. It sucks that sometimes someone has to go down for others to take notice of what could happen. Okay. So that's all I got for now, folks. Thank you. This is the only video I will be making about the situation. I will not be making any more videos when it comes to this entire DCS and the Headphone Show communication. I will continue to move my channel forward and giving you more objective reviews, which will be quite interesting as I am getting close to bring out the esoteric M1X monoblocks, which will mark the very first time I display an esoteric amplifier and the matching flagship esoteric C1X 2 chassis $45,000 preamplifier. That's all I got for you folks. Have a wonderful night or morning wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.